Now, I want to tell you a story to explain what an emotional hijacking is. Imagine you're driving on the freeway or motorway, Autobahn. It's early on a Sunday morning. The roads are clear. There's no traffic at all. It's also a great day. It's sunny and clear. No rain. In the back seat, you have something or someone you love or cherish. Grandma, kid, corgi, cake, your new computer, something like that. So you're just driving along. Everything's just fine. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, someone comes to cut you off. Just out of nowhere. This guy comes, cuts you off, starts to speed in front of you. I want you to think about what you feel like in this moment because I know we've all been there. What starts to happen in your body and how do you start to react? Okay, your heart starts to pound. Your breathing becomes faster, a little more labored. You start to get really hot. You clench up, really clench the steering wheel. Maybe you clench your teeth at the same time. And you start to get angry and frustrated. Maybe you swear, maybe you use a gesture or so, maybe you shake your fist, maybe you honk, maybe you speed up to try and get that person. The purpose of what I mean here is I want you to think about what tends to happen in the moment without you even thinking about it. This is fight or flight. This is how your brain has evolved, how all of our human brains have evolved. In caveman days, we made sure to understand where danger was because we didn't want to face that danger. So the reaction you have in this moment when you see someone doing something that really could hurt you, could actually kill you and everybody in the car, your brain reacts before you actually think too much about it. So this is what's going on in your brain. So your brain gets information, it gets some stimulus, right? The first part of your brain that it goes through is called the amygdala or the emotional center of your brain. This is intentional and it's evolutionary and there's no way to get around it. The fact here is that you feel something emotionally in the moment before the information in milliseconds, microseconds, travels to the prefrontal cortex, the logical part of your brain. This is the last part of our brain to form in humans. So you react emotionally. Oh my gosh, what's going on? What a jerk. This is terrible. Why did this happen? I'm so scared. Before, and by the way, going back to our story here, that guy, that jerk, he's way in the distance. You're totally safe. Whew. Wow. Start to kind of calm down, feel a little more relaxed. Whew. Maybe you could go back and kind of just look back quickly and say, sorry about that language. These are words only mom uses. And you realize everything is okay. You're fine. Kids are fine. Corgi, grandma, cake, laptop, whatever it is, you're fine. That's because you're responding to it logically. The first part of the reaction was the emotional reaction. That's where the hijacking takes place. You feel it and you move on it because your brain, your body has been programmed to do it this way. It's programmed to release cortisol, the stress hormone. It's programmed to release blood sugar so your heart and your brain get energy to make decisions. Then, again, as that driver gets farther in the distance, your prefrontal cortex, your emotional part of your brain, and your logical part of your brain start talking. And if they were talking, the emotional part of your brain would be like, go and get that guy. And the logical part would be like, wait a second, not going to catch up to him. You know what? Everything's fine. Don't worry about it. Just go back to where you are. Slow down. Take a deep breath. Maybe put some music on. Once again, this is an example of an emotional hijacking. Now, this was an example that sadly a lot of us face a couple times a year probably, which is you get cut off or you're in a car and you feel your safety being threatened. You feel scared. Yeah, there are crappy drivers out there, but not us, right? No, definitely not. So now let's think about what happens when you're at work and you're in this situation, because that's what I want you to take from this. That's an example of emotional hijacking. All right, the trigger was, or the hot button was somebody cutting you off, scaring you, kind of coming out of nowhere. The great advantage I feel you have is you probably have an idea of some people, places, topics, times of the day, the things that drive you nuts at work. Those are some of, again, the triggers and the buttons. I want you to think about what some of those triggers and buttons are. So right now, take a moment. Who's one person at work who just drives you nuts? Think about that for just a moment. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, be sure to click like and subscribe so you can find out when my next leadership video on becoming an awesome leader is out there for you. Okay, so you're thinking about this person who drives you nuts. I'm just going to call this person Annoying Annie. Okay, there's something about how she operates, what she does, what she says that really bothers you. So now, when you see her, you may actually have a physical reaction. Now, if other things have happened in anticipation or before you see Annoying Annie, things kind of build on top of each other. Let's say there was terrible traffic, or your train was late, or you got some bad news, or somebody's email annoyed you. And all these things kind of pile up, and then you interact with Annie. It's more likely in that case that that emotional part of your brain will have a reaction. Oh my gosh, you drive me nuts. Oh wow, did I say that outside? Did I actually say that outside my brain? You probably wouldn't say that, but you might do the first part, which is like, oh my gosh, you're driving me nuts. Or you might sigh. What I want you to do here is I want you to realize when you see, hear, get an email from someone, a topic that is going to make it more likely that you're going to be emotionally hijacked. The key is not to, again, bottle up your emotions. The key is not to have no emotions at all. That's definitely not it. I think that was a double negative. Sorry about that. The key is to understand there are certain situations where you're more likely to, because you're stressed or because you have a reaction to this person, they trigger you, that the emotional part of your brain will hijack you. And you'll say something you regret, maybe use some body language that's very obvious, it's not subtle, rolling eyes, sighing, saying something you regret, raising your voice, whatever those things are. As a leader, you can control and prevent those emotional hijackings. You want to think about what the topic is, the person, the place, whatever it is, and then make sure to anticipate and think about how to prepare for that interaction with that person. There are lots of other things you can do too. Get a good night's sleep, drink water, do those things, exercise. I'm not trying to be flippant. The idea is here that there's some more things you can control of in your life as a leader. And I think you can better understand and manage your emotions. You can impact what you say and do by understanding when you might be emotionally triggered and why you might be at risk sometimes of getting hijacked. Okay, I hope this video was helpful. If you liked it, you found it useful, subscribe, like it. Let me know that this is content that you need to become an awesome leader. I'll talk to you in the next video.